Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Rayz Dayz, episode 96 of the show, where I recap my week. And in great contrast to last week, I have been very unmotivated this week. It is, I don't know, I just so distracted, just not focused whatsoever. And maybe it was because I worked nonstop for the last 2 weeks from morning till night, really doing a lot of things. But for whatever reason, the wind went out of my sails this week, and I did not get that much stuff done. I still got everything done that I needed to get done. The big highlight for my week was I got my shelves finally, my shelving that I ordered. I was very excited about getting, strangely more excited about getting these shelving units than I was even getting my new laptop. Because the laptop is like, I don't know, it's a tool that I use for work. It's not, I don't know, versus these shelves allowed me to rearrange my living space in a way that makes it easier and better for me to work. And will make it easier for me to store things. It felt more like an upgrade, whereas the laptop was more of a replacement. So I was stoked, and they showed up a little early. So I decided to completely get them all prepared, get them all set up, which was, sadly fun. I was so prepared. I had the space all cleared out for when they were showing up, and just ready to go when they did. And got everything set up, and it allows me to set up for this show slightly different. It allows me for more space, more breathing room with everything, because I have less things to set up and do and tear down at the end of the night. So other than that was like the most productive thing I did was set up the shelves, which I only did kind of part. I mean, the shelves are completely set up, but the aspect of actually going through and organizing everything and getting everything where it needs to go, primarily the over 1,700 paintings that I need to go through and label and archive and just kind of get situated so it's easier to find something. So if somebody buys painting number 512, it won't take me a day looking through 1,700 paintings to look for 512 based on what it looks like. So there's a lot of organizing that I need to do, which I don't know if I'll do that right away, but because there's other things that I wanted to get done this week that I didn't get done. But very unmotivated, just very distracted. So distracted. Like, so much so that I would be like, I was in these cycles of just looking at things on my phone, going from one app to the other, going from Twitter to Instagram to TikTok and all the different accounts that I have on those different platforms. And I was just constantly cycling through, checking the numbers on Etsy to see if anything, checking the numbers on my NFTs to see if anything's changed, just to see if there's any traffic, just to see if anything is kind of trending in a positive direction. And I think part of one of the reasons why I've felt unmotivated is kind of like a depression type of a reaction. Because of all the work I did, I was hoping to have a bigger splash, a bigger impact for doing those things. I was hopeful to at least have 1 or 2 sales by this time last week. Last week, hoping by this time this week, I would have made some money doing all of the things that I had done in the past 2 weeks. But it's just another moment, another lesson, another reminder that, Field of Dreams was not that accurate. If they build it, they won't always come. They won't just show up. It takes more than that. And, every time I take a step in the right direction, or maybe multiple steps in the right direction, I have this feeling of like, oh, this is like, I'm going to have some traction because of this. And there might be some initial traction, but then it just goes away almost immediately. And it's something that you would think I'd be used to now, but it is a little disheartening considering the fact that I mean, it's harder to be positive and optimistic when you have been doing something for over a decade, and it really just doesn't seem to be, from one set of analytics, doesn't seem to be moving in the direction you had hoped it would be moving in. However, from another direction, the direction that I choose to focus on and have chosen to focus on primarily throughout the decade plus that I've been attempting to do these, grinding on trying to do these things, is to just focus on getting better. And that's one thing that I have upgraded. There's been some upgrades to how I do things that I feel I'm putting out a slightly better product today than I was 2 weeks ago. So on that side, framing it in that way, I am pleased and happy with myself that I've continued to grow despite the fact that I have moments of doubt, that I have moments of severe depression, that I have moments of just, why the fuck am I doing this? The Many Faces is an ongoing abstract ink portrait series that I started many years ago. I release a new face every day, but go to inspireddisorder.com to check them out. So many available. But as a listener to The Ray Taylor Show, you can save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out. So go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF. That stands for The Many Faces. Go check them out, browse the entire collection, and when you decide on a piece, or maybe multiple pieces, make sure you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out, and you'll save 10%. As a big thank you for checking out my work, for collecting my work, and for listening to The Ray Taylor Show. And with that said, let's get back to the show. But then I think of the alternatives. Like, well, what else am I going to do? Like, what else am I going to use my life to do? Am I just going to quit and try and get a job? Like, even if I got a job doing the things I do for myself, like video editing, audio editing, podcast producing, YouTube producing videos, online videos, editing videos, graphic design, fine art, doing all of these things for somebody else is just as disgusting and as like toxic of an idea as working minimum wage at McDonald's, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I have no problems doing all these things for myself. Like, I have no problem being the best employee I can be to myself. But thinking of having to be a good employee for somebody else, which I can't help but not want to be good at what I do. So even if I did end up losing everything, everything fails again, and I have to somehow get a job working for some company that doesn't give a shit about me, I will still try and be good at doing that thing, whatever it is. And I will hate myself for it. But the thought of me having to do all this stuff for somebody else, I just wouldn't be able to do it. Because I won't care about it as much as I do. Like, it's so much easier for me to put in the time and effort to do the best work for myself. And to do it for somebody else, I would definitely, at first I would, but I would get so tired so fast. I would be burnt out immediately doing what I do for somebody else. Because it wouldn't be my vision. There would be aspects of what they're doing that I don't agree with. And then I'm doing those things, knowing that I could have been doing those things for myself, it's like the most tragic idea that I can think of. And over the years, there's been opportunities for me to potentially produce other people's work. And I never followed through with it because every time I got closer and closer to that being a reality, the more I realized that I would rather just be doing that. I would rather be doing that stuff for myself to hopefully become my own boss and make my own money. So, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot or have shot myself in the foot. Although most of those jobs that I thought I wanted, like most of those people, I am not even remotely a fan of anymore. So it would have been hell on, because they would have been people that I actually liked at the time. They were people that I liked at the time and would have wanted to work for. But now so much has changed. So much has changed that like I would not even be happy working for them, let alone doing stuff that I could be doing for myself for them. So anyway, it's been a distracted, very out of focus week. I spent a lot of time watching ER. I mean, obviously, I watched all the movies that I'm reviewing this week and a bunch of Charlie Kaufman films that I'm doing my top 5 of tomorrow. But, aside from that, instead of doing the work, doing extra work, either releasing new NFTs or working on, there's a bunch of SEO stuff that I want to upgrade and improve on my website and other places that like I didn't do any of this week. And most of that time, aside from just cycling through the different apps on my phone, was watching ER. I've been enjoying ER. It's a show that I loved when it came out. It's surprising how much I remembered the first season, which is amazing. The show kind of, the way the first season of ER is directed is awesome. It has a lot of long takes. You got cameras like constantly moving. You have characters constantly moving. It is like controlled chaos. Every episode of ER in the first season. And then after the first season, it tones way back down. There is a lot. It is produced in a way that's probably a lot more sustainable for a show that was putting out as many episodes as they were. But it's crazy, like dipping back into a show that I remember watching as an early teen, and remembering episodes and just like loving the show. Like how much the first season of ER stands out is amazing. Like it is so good. And even though it tones way down in its style and kinetic energy that it had in the first season, I still really enjoy it. All the different storylines, different characters, actors coming and going, like seeing people that are huge today doing like roles, like these bit parts where they're just in an episode, just like some side character in an episode. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Where I'm at right now in the show, I think I'm in season 4. It's a lot of AIDS. A lot of AIDS talk. One of the doctors got AIDS, and it's an issue. It's an issue because it's hard to be in medicine when you can potentially transfer, especially at the time, a very deadly disease to somebody else, to a patient. But a lot of AIDS talk, which is kind of crazy how, like, it reminded me of how much AIDS was the main topic of conversations back in the 90s. Just so much. And now you barely hear about it. I mean, now because I think it's so manageable and to the extent where I think it just is undetectable in people that we've gotten such a handle on, it's not as big of an issue. But back then, it was like so big in the 90s. Join Inspired Disorder Plus today. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus to join. Membership includes members-only discounts and deals. You get access to the Ray Taylor Show completely ad-free, as well as bonus episodes. You get access to the complete live painting archive. You also get access to every single podcast ever produced by Inspired Disorder, hosted by Ray Taylor. You get access to Ray Taylor's personal blog, as well as the opportunity to ask me any questions. So if you want to start a podcast, you're into art, ask me anything. And so many more things are being added every day to Inspired Disorder Plus. So sign up today, become a member, head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. But yeah, I'm really enjoying watching ER. That has been kind of the one thing that I don't know. It doesn't make me feel good that I've been distracted, and I haven't even been. And when I say watching ER, it's on in the background. Like, I am not necessarily following every episode. Like, I'm not watching it in order to review it at some point. It is very much just a show that I have on in the background that I am like, there's storylines that I'm jumping into in the middle of and jumping out of before they get resolved. But I don't know. I'm not that interested. It's just kind of been fun to have on in the background. And some great actors that some bad actors too. There's one main actor from the first few seasons that was just horrible, that they really tried to give like big emotional scenes to this actor, and it just epically failed. And eventually that actor is no longer on the show by season 4. But they really tried, and it was just it was just like a stinker of a performance. And it was a main character. I don't want to dig in. I'd have to like look it up to see the character, but it was one of the female doctors, and her acting was just so bad. So bad. She was basically just reciting lines. There was very little to no acting actually going on, despite the fact she was the character that had the sister who's addicted to, I think, speed. She had a drug addiction, and the sister ended up having a kid, but then she would disappear all the time. And so she was in charge of kind of raising this kid. She kind of had a little fling with one of the other doctors who also had a kid whose marriage was crumbling. But just a horrible actor. And eventually she's not there. I don't know. I missed the episode where she left, but she's not in season 4. So anyway, I've enjoyed it. It's on HBO Max, and it's so many seasons, like 13 seasons or something like that. Hour-long episodes, and they did like 20 episodes. Like, it's a time in TV where they cranked out shows. So it's not that surprising that they kind of throttled back on their production from the constant kinetic energy that they had in the first season to more subtle. They still go into it. There's still moments of chaos because it's an emergency room and crazy things happen. So the cameras, will move accordingly. Actors will be hustling and going everywhere. So they'll still have aspects of the energy that first season had, but it definitely got toned down after the first season ended. But yeah, that's been my week. Not a whole lot. Just got my working area, my living area, my studio space is rearranged. The large components, the furniture components of it, everything's spaced out in a great way, I think. And it just up to me now to not be so distracted this next week, to try and get some stuff done and have some more stuff to talk about on next Rayz Dayz. But yeah, that's been my week. Very uneventful. Having like tons of sinus headaches. Like, I haven't been drinking for over a month now, since like middle of December. Although my roommate made me a drink yesterday, and then she gave me a drink a few days, a week ago or whatever. But I haven't been, like, aside from those 2 drinks I've had, that's it since like the end of December. So I'm kind of angry with the fact that I've had ankle pains this week. I've had a lot of aches and pains in general, but like had a lot of tons of ankle pains, which I'm assuming now is arthritis that I had attributed to, like, maybe it's gout from drinking so much. I get these sinus headaches because the weather and just allergies and things like that. These headaches that I would have attributed to drinking the night before. I don't have my body doesn't have those excuses anymore. It's just I'm old, and things hurt a lot more often. So yeah, that's been my week. In pain, distracted, didn't get a whole lot done, but it is what it is. I'm alive. I'm alive. I got everything. I got the necessities done. I streamed my art. I've been streaming my paintings, my live paintings on TikTok every Thursday at 4:20. Those have been going decent. I want to do more streaming. If I can get my TikTok numbers up on the Ray Taylor Show account, I would like to do live streams of when I record these episodes. But I'm pretty far from that threshold I think I'm close to 200 followers, and you need to have 1,000 followers. So we'll see how long it takes for that account to pop off. A lot of Joe Rogan simps are not happy with me. Had to block somebody the other day that found out I'm not a fan of Rogan anymore. It's a lot of Rogan drama, which I'll probably talk about more because constantly, by the time this episode comes out, who knows what else of Rogan has come out. It's just like every bad thing he's ever said or done on his podcast is being exposed, and it's kind of I don't know. For me, it's fun to watch because it's just a rich white dude millionaire. If anything's going to lose out on a paycheck, he's not going to be canceled. He can set up his own server if he wants. Podcasts in video form and audio form existed before Spotify. They existed before even YouTube. Joe Rogan has quite a bit of money. He could set up a server and host all of his podcasts on his own, still get his advertising money, and just not be exclusive to Spotify. He could have his own thing. So I don't feel bad about Joe Rogan potentially missing out on a paycheck. Boo-hoo. Join the club. I'm not a millionaire, but let me tell you, Joe Rogan fans many, many years ago, one of the super fans of Joe Rogan, probably close to a decade ago, cost me a lot of money. So I don't really have any sympathy for the fact that things that Joe Rogan has said on his podcast are going to potentially cost him money. I don't think it will, but that's all. It's not like he's going to jail. His First Amendment rights aren't being infringed upon. It's just a paycheck that he's fighting for. All these people that think he's like some kind of First Amendment hero are ridiculous. All these people that think getting deplatformed is the same thing as free speech. Get out of here. Being arrested for speech is a violation of your First Amendment. That happens during protests. People who protest are having their First Amendment violated constantly. Not Joe Rogan. Anyway, that's my week. How about that? That's my week. I hope everybody else is having a good week. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.